Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Talking Skritt, Gamebreaker Nation's weekly Guild Wars 2 talk show. We've got a fair bit of important information to get through today concerning mainly specializations. There was a bunch of info released this week, big long blog post, hours long live stream, so that'll definitely be fun to talk about. And also it is the 10th anniversary of the Guild Wars franchise, and they released a bit of new content in the original game, Guild Wars 1, for us to go through. So we'll talk a little bit about that also, but first, let me introduce you to our co-host for the day. Over here, we have Mr. Jim Carr.
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Now, down here, we've got Mrs. Robin Baird. Hello, Robin. She's a writer for Gamebreaker TV.
Hello.
Awesome, awesome. And next to her, we've got, returning finally, it's Mr. Roy Lindlau. How are you doing, Roy?
Doing good, guys. And no comments this time about, who he looks like or anything.
He doesn't look like Ryan Reynolds, does he?
I don't know,
Thanks, Roy. Thanks.
I don't see it. I still don't see it. I don't understand.
Just imagine hanging upside down like Spider-Man.
No, Ryan Reynolds is, he's Green Lantern.
And Deadpool.
And Deadpool. Yeah, we don't talk about that, though, do we?
What he looks like, though.
All right, all right. Let's get right into it, though. The specializations. We got a bunch of new information this week. Basically, they started with a blog post. I believe it was, I want to say Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday was the blog post?
Thursday.
It was
Thursday.
April 23rd.
I think that was Thursday. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I could be wrong. But so they detailed what the specialization system is going to be. We originally thought that it was just going to be the extra sort of pseudo second profession for each class that was going to come out with Heart of Thorns, but it's actually going to be a lot more extensive than that. It's going to basically, they're converting the entire trait system into the specialization system to give us something known as core specializations. And what that's going to be is each trait line we currently have now for each class is going to become a core specialization, and you're going to be able to specialize in up to 3 core specializations at once. And then once you get to level 80, you can then go into your elite specialization, which is what the original specializations they told us about are going to be. So basically these changes are coming with a lot of skill changes, a lot of trait changes, a lot of taking out of certain traits, putting in of others. What really stood out to you about the blog post and about the big long live stream they had detailing all the changes?
I like how they're trying to, overall, for the most part, they're trying to take the things that nobody used and either get rid of them or make them more interesting. Take the things that everybody used and either make them, baseline that that's just what you get, or balancing more so that they're in line with the other ones so that they're not always the go-to. Like the example I love to use because I play my elementalist a lot is the larger radiuses, or the blast for the staff. That's going to be baseline. You won't have to spec into that anymore. You just automatically get the blast staff. And then for the ice bow, they're going to bring that down so that that's just not always the right choice or the best. No, not necessarily the best choice, but there's no reason not to use the ice bow in most situations, though obviously that needs to be taken care of some. So
due to the DPS meta, most of the time the ice bow is the optimal thing to use because it has such good DPS.
If you're thinking about that as the right thing to use.
Well,
I've never actually had ice bow slotted.
Well, my point about it is so it's not necessarily always the best tool for any job, but you're pretty much never wrong to try and use the ice bow on something. No matter what you use on it, you put it up, use the 4 skill, and whatever it is will melt. There might be other things that might be better, but that you're not going to hurt anything by doing that in general. So they've recognized that, and they're going to dial it back some. So that I'm excited about that. I think a lot of the combinations of traits that they're doing will be interesting, and seeing how everything works together will be interesting. I'm really unhappy that they're using the word specializations for two separate things and concepts. That just annoys me on a writing thing. Like, I'm sure people will get it, but it just seems like needlessly unclear.
Confusing. Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why you couldn't call it two different things.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm thinking that it's still a system in flux, and the whole switch with the specialization setup just kind of came around. So I don't see it as too big of a problem, really. Once we get, you know, a full fleshed out system, once we're able to actually play with it, it's not going to be nearly as confusing, because right now we're dealing with a lot of partial information, I want to say. Like, we don't know exactly how the unlock system is going to work. They didn't show that off, right? Like, they just said that this is how it's going to work. We didn't actually get to see it.
We didn't get to see them moving throughout the UI and unlocking this, that, and the other, but we are aware that it's going to, you know, skills are going to now be unlocked with something called hero points. Skill points are no longer going to be a thing, and I'm not sure how we'll navigate this new trait UI, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is the primary confusion, is that we don't know enough about the system as it stands to really work through it in our heads. So without the UI, which is, you know, inherently part of a video game concept like this, it's kind of hard to see. Well, it's not hard to see it. It's easy to consider it as confusing because we don't have basically half the picture.
And that's one of the things I'm kind of, you know, I've been looking at this for a while now, and I'm confused on is without skill points, you could, or with the way skill points worked, you could pick, you know, this line, and part of this line, or part of these 3 lines and all of this line. How are they going to balance? How are they going to balance that part of it? In other words, if you're going into one of the core specializations, which is the same as what we've already had, how do they? Are they just saying pick one of the 4 or one of the 5 and use the points that way?
No.
So how this is going to work is there's 5, you know, trait lines per class, and these are now going to be known as core specializations. We are going to be able to have 3 of these active at any given time, so 3 out of 5 we're always going to have active, and those are going to automatically give us, you know, the trait slots for that core specialization. So we will be getting access to more traits with this new system than we have with the current system, which is pretty cool. We'll be able to have active 3 Grandmaster traits at one time, which is pretty insane, and I've actually voiced a bit of criticism on the fact that this could lead to power creep. It's minor right now because it's only 1 extra trait, but it's something to consider in the long run.
Yeah, that was kind of my point, was without, by you know, keeping the way that we had it, we were kind of blocked out of the higher level skills before. Now it looks like you're going to be able to actually use more skills or have more skills to play with.
Well, they're changing it in such a way that you can't slot a master into your Grandmaster tier.
Yeah.
Like, you are locked into your 3 choices per tier, and it's basically an offensive, defensive, and utility are the 3 choices you get. And then the minors are still there, and they're just minor things that give flavor based on what the specialization line is, what used to be the trait lines. But as for the skills, like for the actual skill points, those are going to be a separate unlock from the specialization tracks, which everything for skills now have skill groups. So we all know that one random skill that was in, like, let's go, since I play my elementalist a lot too, let's go with the tornado for the elite. It was a transform. Literally the only transform you had as an elementalist. And you couldn't do anything to buff it. And then all of those other abilities you had that, you know, the traits that say, you know, 20% cooldown reduction on this class of skills. Well, that was inherently, like, less powerful for you because you had skills outside of that outside of any of those choices. So now they've added a class for that. They're called Tempest skills. I think it was Tornado and one other, I think, was in there. I can't remember what it was. I know they said specifically that one other was in there.
There were cantrips. I don't know. I might be confusing things.
No, they created a new class of skills for the Elementalist called Tempest. But Tornado is definitely in there. So now there is going to be, traits that affect all skills. Like, for another example, a mortar is now a kit for engineers. So, it might actually get used at some point.
Now, with you mentioning Tempest, that actually brings to mind something that I didn't catch in the live stream, but that people are saying is the case. People are saying it's kind of going around that Tempest was revealed to be the new Elementalist Elite specialization that will come with Heart of Thorns. I didn't catch that in the live stream. Did any of you catch that?
No.
No.
Okay, yeah, see, I thought it was a bit strange that people were making that assertion. They might have said it in the live stream and I just didn't catch it.
Well,
But,
I was watching on Hotel Internet, so I could have missed it.
Yeah. I just, if that is the new Elementalist specialization, I thought it was sort of a weird name for a profession specialization, because that's not a descriptive term for what a person does. A person does not, you don't see a person and you're like, oh, that's a Tempest, because a Tempest is an object. Something like a druid or a necromancer is a field.
Technically, going into like D&D background here, there was a prestige class called the Dervish, or no, there was the
Dervish was one.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was, what was the name of the one? It was the Paragon and from Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, Nightfall had dervishes. Which
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Dervish. Yeah, that's the same way as Tempest, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe that is also, a small whirlwind is what it describes. So you could certainly call someone a Tempest if the thing that you're describing also describes the fighting style. So
I don't feel like it fits.
Hold on, let me just interrupt for a second. I was just checking on Dolphy. Dolphy actually says Tempest is the name of the Elementalist Elite specialization.
Yeah, I just double-checked that too.
I know, yeah, I saw that in her notes, and I thought it was strange because I hadn't... As I don't feel like that's something they were supposed to reveal. Granted, I didn't see the whole live stream. I had to turn it off halfway through because that was another thing I thought was weird. They did this, hours-long live stream, and I don't think a lot of people have the time to watch that. I certainly didn't. And so I had to turn it off halfway through and follow up with the notes on Dolphy. But I don't feel like Tempest is a good name for elite specialization. I don't know.
Well, it all depends on how it plays. I mean, it might make sense once we see how they set things up. But also, it's still in beta, and it's not like these things.
And I can agree with the idea that it would be better that it be called Weathermaker or something rather than Tempest. Just
Weathermaker?
Chief Meteorologist.
Yeah,
You can do that.
With meteorologists.
Storm.
Yeah. No, Tempest. I mean, it's all right. It's nothing to QQ about or anything.
No.
It's a name.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we know there's fire magic, water magic, earth magic, and arcane, definitely, and air.
Yeah.
So if there is a Tempest one, then it would be that.
Right.
If the Tempest thing is accurate, then it would be that.
Tempest makes me think air, water, possibly arcane. It kind of leaves out fire and earth, though, don't you?
Well,
think?
I mean, that's them. Technically, if you look at it, if we use the one specialization, the one elite specialization that we're aware of right now, the druid, a druid and a ranger are both relatively similar. It's possible that, Tempest and an elementalist, a Tempest is someone who works with quick strikes in melee, much like a lot of the other, theme stuff from D&D were before. It's someone who works with elemental magic and quick strikes in melee. Just, it's the same thing. I'm repeating myself, and I'm stumbling for something, and it's like.
Well, and what you said about the druid, the Druid's functionality in Guild Wars seems to be, as opposed to the Ranger's functionality, seems to be almost identical to, you know, your D&D Ranger versus your D&D Druid. The Druid is a much more magic-centric class, whereas the Ranger is a much more physical damage-centric, correct?
Yeah, so perhaps it's going to be the opposite for the Elementalist and the Tempest, is the Tempest is going to be the more physical-centric.
Yeah. Did we lose sound on someone, or?
I don't think so.
Okay. There was an abrupt pause right there. I thought you were going to continue saying something.
I know, it was like, I thought there was going to be more to that thought, and it just kind of, just
Petered out.
for it, really. But,
Yeah.
but like what Roy was talking about with the skills is, okay, I thought Tempest was going to be another skill line, but no, like, you're going to be able to, you know, spend your hero points on cantrips, and you're going to be able to learn your cantrips. So you'll have that. Everything is going to have a skill class, which is great. Like, they're going to make sure, like, I think they said Rampage and Heal is 1 for the Ranger, like, which is, you know, the elite skill, and then one of their heal skills, those are going to be shouts. So if a Ranger has anything that affects shouts, whenever they use those two skills, those are going to be shouts instead of just random untyped things.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, I know some of the things that I was most excited for out of this announcement and live stream was the fact that engineers will now be able to see their back pieces with their kits on.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so excited about that. I might actually start using kits, but I don't know. I don't really like any of the kits. And then,
but you can use your you can use your crazy awesome mortar kit now, Aaron.
dude, mortar. No one's gonna use mortar. I don't care what they do for mortar. No one's using mortar kit. It's not gonna happen.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm not gonna use it.
I don't even have an engineer, so don't listen to me.
The thing I can see with mortars are that it's kind of a ranged thing. That between the Guardian and brain, come back, brain. Between a Guardian and Engineer, if a Guardian's keeping a person in a position, mortars can be used in a little bit more in a more effective manner.
Yeah, but like to balance somebody around having another profession there to make them usable is not good balancing.
The whole idea behind the Engineer has always been a support. They're there to control and move things around on the field.
Well, on the bright side, with just being able to say that the mortar is a kit now, so you can move with it, that's infinitely expanding the power of the mortar, like right off the bat. And I think that the whole purpose was because they said they got rid of the extra range and grenades on Grenadier, which I'm okay with that. And then the Grenadier so there used to be you could trade into having, what was it, 5 instead of 4 or something? They made 5 +1. Yeah, it was +1 grenade and an increase to 1200 range, which we were talking about it before the show. Nobody used because you could never, like, it was really difficult to predict. And then, if you were throwing grenades at a 1200 range, the spread on them would make them nearly impossible to make effective unless you were fighting a Zerg.
Yeah.
So now...
Yeah.
What was that, Aaron?
Yeah, just grenades at 1200 range, like, it's cool in your head, and then when you start using it, you're like, I can't hit a single freaking thing. And everyone just ends up melee ranging with grenades. That's the most effective way to use them, and it will continue to be.
That's like the number 2 skill on Thief with the short bow. It sounds good. When you try to use it, it's like, eh.
I like that skill.
I melee range that skill.
I like that. That skill is cool, because if you fire...
Which one is that one?
That's the cluster bomb, where if you reactivated it...
Oh, that one looks really cool. I like that.
The one thing, like, if you really want to get it running is if you have to aim behind them if you want to get the scatter shot for the AoE. Yeah. So you'd have to aim behind and detonate as it arcs over.
See, that's the thing, though. It's easier to just run into melee range and circle around your foe spamming 2. That's what I do. It does so much damage.
But and I think Grenadier now is going to make grenade velocity faster, and then I think it's going to do something else. I have them up here, but they're trying to basically make it so that the mortar is your super long range option, and I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a fantastic idea.
It's like you said, it could work against Zergs. Mortar being, like, using the mortar is something you could do against Zergs, but why would you use your skill mortar when you have all this siege, you know, that you can use in WW? That's like the only.
Well, that's like if you're defending. Like, it would be great if you're defending, and it's great if you're like on top of a hill and you're like harassing an enemy Zerg. So.
I mean, I guess, but the drawback to a mortar, as usual, is now you've got someone charging you, and you don't have a viable elite to use in, you know, close quarters combat. I don't know. Mortar sucks, guys. Mortar sucks.
Well, honestly, like, the engineer has a lot of other abilities that could just say, I'm going that way now.
Oh.
You've got rocket boots. You've got oil slick.
You know where Tempest is coming from? I just found it.
What?
It's on the Part 2 blog post. They have the picture up of the, you know, unlocking wheel for the, unlocking all the lines and stuff. And it has, you know, fire magic, water magic, earth magic, arcane magic, signets, conjuration, cantrips, glyphs, arcana, and the last thing on there is Tempest.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, but that word Tempest, that's coming in next to skill group names, not specialization names. So that could be a skill group, not a specialization.
Or they could just put all the elite specializations at the bottom of the list.
Because didn't they say
They're
we
the
have to be
newest
level
thing.
80?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they left the elite specializations out entirely, though, from those screenshots. I mean, that seems like such a careless. Yeah, I don't think they be that careless. I don't know. I'm not buying it yet. I'm not buying it.
Or they did do that as a point to throw out the teaser, just to throw out all this random speculation.
All I'm saying is unconfirmed on the Tempest. Like, I don't think that's been confirmed by developers at all.
No.
On the Tempest.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Just like they haven't actually confirmed that engineers are going to get a hammer.
Yeah.
We're sure it's going to happen because we saw the cinematic, but because who else would have drones flying after them?
In the blog post is that somebody will be getting a hammer. So, we know that somebody is going to get a hammer that they don't have already.
Yeah.
So.
And who knows? Multiple classes could get hammers. I mean, we know Guardians are getting longbows. We know.
We do.
Yeah, there's a
we
clip
know.
from the trailer. Yeah, there's a clip from the trailer that was very heavily analyzed by people. It's a World v. World clip, and
That's what I was just going to say. It's their thief hammer.
Oh God.
it's pretty much irrevocable evidence that Guardians are getting longbows, but it's still quote unquote unconfirmed.
I thought people couldn't tell if it was a longbow or a short bow though.
It's a bow, so that narrows it down to 2 choices. So.
Yeah. Like that's
Oh, I thought people confirmed it as a longbow.
No, like it looks big, but there are short bows that look pretty big, so I don't think it's been settled.
I will admit,
because
Ranger didn't get. I'm just saying that the Ranger didn't get a hammer.
No.
yeah, they got a staff.
it's kind of silly.
I think it's engineer with the hammer, in my opinion.
Well,
But anyways, there are a lot of longbow and shortbow skins. There are 2 versions, so unless it's one of the few that there aren't one for each, then I don't think it's been settled on that one.
There used to be a lot of those skins, and I remember because I used the Ebonhawk shortbow skin because it was the same size as the longbow. They changed a lot of them. They changed that one now to where it's a shortbow size bow. One of the few
But I'm just
left.
saying there's a few that like they may be a different size, but like depending on who's carrying it or whatever, it might.
I believe it was a Norn character in the
tell
video.
for sure.
yeah, short bow on a Norn still looks pretty big. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of the other main things that probably the most exciting thing from this live stream for me was the fact that burning and poison are going to stack intensity.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. Finally, conditions
Yes.
are going to be viable again. They're probably not going to be viable
Again.
Well, that and they're still talking. They're still talking
That's
about
true, they
having
never were.
uncapped conditions. So,
Yeah.
Well, they never said uncapped. They said that the cap will be significantly higher. Like in the beta for Heart of Thorns that some players got to get into a few weeks ago, the condition was relatively uncapped. I don't know if it's just that they never reached the cap or that it was really uncapped, but I don't think they would go as far as to uncap, because with Zergs that would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
scale the boss's HP to account for it.
See, I don't like that solution, because it just turns it into a damage sponge, and that's no fun. I don't know.
Well, if it turns into a damage sponge, we might actually be able to see some of the mechanics. Shaman still, like Frozen Maw, the Svanir Shaman still dies in like under 30 seconds.
I could definitely see poison stacking up to 10 and burning stacking up to 5. I don't see burning going past 5. It ticks too high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because that would put it about on par with bleeds as the highest tick you can get.
I'm
not
honestly
sure
just
what that
happy
is.
for my engineer and his flamethrower with burning stacking. Like that's
Yeah.
all I'm really happy about here.
Yeah, that's going to make Flamethrower an amazing weapon kit to use.
Yeah, and I'll stop getting whispers about using a non-viable kit.
I'm super excited because I use dual pistols about the poison stacking, because the 3 skill, the 2 skill, stacks poison 5 times, but it only stacks duration, so it's kind of stupid. Now I'll get 5 stacks of poison that are going to be ticking on my enemy. That's going to be really cool.
Yep.
And helpful.
Mhm.
Yes.
Though it will be kind of a nerf to the secondary effect of poison with the heal reduction. Because instead of stacking duration, you'll only have intensity.
Well, theoretically, it'll stack both, won't it? Duration and intensity.
No, because each stack will have whatever duration it is,
Its own
and they will
duration.
fall off.
Yeah.
So you'd have to keep reapplying it to keep it up.
But the healing, as far like the 33% less healing, that won't stack. Like that shouldn't stack. Like you couldn't stack that percentage. That would be stupid.
No, that wouldn't be stacked. But what I'm saying is, like, if you can have enough poison duration, is right now what you end up having is you extend the condition to a point where, unless they have steady condition removal, you're going to keep them poisoned. Like if you're in like a PvP or World v World environment, they're going to stay poisoned for basically the entirety of the fight. With its stacking, it creates shorter windows of that.
But there are multiple windows, so it adds up to the same amount of time poison, does it not?
That depends on, I don't know the exact math on how they stack duration for stuff, because if the base duration is long, it adds more to the duration stack, whereas you're just stacking intensity, so the duration is flat the entire time.
I know it's flat, but each stack has its own duration, and since they were applied consecutively, that would mean that you'd have, I don't
Shorter
know,
intervals added.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it will affect the duration negatively.
Which is good,
But-
because it's a really powerful secondary effect of poison, and now you're amping the power of poison by letting it stack. So
Yeah, I confused myself there, I think. Congratulations.
Good job.
That was cool. But I'm wondering how you guys feel about the new hero point system and how they're removing skill points and now putting in hero points. Like, what did you guys think about that?
They're just renaming them and changing what they're used for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have accomplished the same thing and just left it called skill points. I don't understand, really.
Yeah, the renaming was definitely redundant. But how do you feel about your current skill points, all the current skill points you have being converted into Mystic Forge crafting materials?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's the only thing they're used for after you buy every skill that you need.
Yeah.
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 I definitely like the idea because that's all I do with my skill points.
I'm curious, like, I know everybody has a ton of those little scrolls for skill points and stuff. What are those going to happen? Like, can you use them and then you'll just automatically get crafting materials from them, or?
Odds are
Yeah.
I'm probably going to end up spending them all on my Elementalist, who I finally got world completion on, and I'm just going to reap all of the material rewards whenever the.
I wouldn't be
patch drops.
surprised if they gave us forewarning and said, open all your scrolls before this date. After that date, they're useless.
Or if
after
they had a
that date.
plan to convert them, because didn't they say that they're going to be adding another wallet currency to cover buying stuff for the Mystic Forge?
Did they?
I believe they did.
I think they said that my interpretation was that the hero points would be accounted for in the wallet. I think that's what he said. I don't think they said there was another
instead of showing up in your
currency.
hero panel, of showing up in your hero panel, they'll be in your wallet. I think I like them better in the hero panel. I don't think they belong in the wallet.
I don't know. I could have misheard him, but that's what I thought he said.
I don't know how I feel about the hero points being put in the wallet, because to me the wallet it's for buying things, physical things.
Yeah.
It's not for buying skills that I use to accumulate currency to buy things. I don't know. It seems weird.
Just going over the notes that Dolphy took on the live stream. New currency to replace skill points that will be in the wallet. You can get them from chant bags and other sources. This currency will allow you to buy crafting materials that used to require skill points.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So the
fine.
scrolls will probably just, like, if you have scrolls post, whatever date, they'll probably
They will
just
turn into those.
that currency.
Mhm.
Okay. I like that better. I like that much better.
Going with the same thing you were just saying, that means since they're being able to be spent on something physical, it fits in the wallet.
Yeah. Another thing, going back to the elite specializations, was apparently they did announce that the first new elite specialization will be announced next week.
And it's
Yes.
not talking about the druid.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, that would be a little ridiculous if they did that.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
I'd bank on either Ellie, since they went over Ellie pretty extensively in this blog post, or Necro, since they did drop that since that's the only other one we have like some semblance of information on, with the fact that they're going to be
Yeah.
great
Well,
swords.
they did also tease that one of the things that the elite, and that they did tease that one of the things the Mesmer elite specialization will do is maybe give a new way to shatter illusions. That was one of the examples they used. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they threw out a few different things
few
in
hints.
that post.
I'm
Yeah.
honestly going to say it's really impressive how well they're doing the teasing for stuff on this, and they're not giving away much.
See,
Yeah.
you say impressive, other people say infuriating.
Well, a good teaser is infuriating. So
Like, there's a lot of people crying over this post. Much QQ has been had in the community.
That's
oh,
true.
that's right. You told me to read the comments on that, and I completely skipped over that.
Yeah.
There were some of
People-
the best comments. It was like, come on, guys.
People quitting because their builds have been ruined. Just quitting the game.
There
Oh
was
my
one
God.
person who said that they were messing up Ranger and Necro, and it was time to get a new game. I was amused. I was like, seriously? I don't even.
It's like a lot of the stuff is like a lot of the you have 20% cooldown reduction on a skill class. They're getting more than that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well-
looking at this stuff and I'm like, they're doing so much good. They're basically smashing a bunch of different traits together, and you're getting more for slotting a trait. How is this ruining anything?
I also feel like if you looked objectively at things, what they're doing that could be construed as negative, arguably kind of needs to be done. Like I was saying with the ice bow, like it's going to be sad that I can't just use that for everything because it's so simple. But at the same time, it's kind of sad that I can literally go through the whole game just using the ice bow. Like, seriously.
Well, I mean,
So.
it's also kind of sad that you can go through the entire game with green gear and not have to upgrade at all and still be perfectly fine.
That's more a design choice that they want that to be useful.
Yeah.
So, another thing that they teased that was interesting is that they didn't say what class will get it or what trait line will get it, but apparently there's a Grandmaster trait out there that will grant a character a Defiance bar.
Yes, they did. Which I'd be willing to bet Guardian or Warrior. Probably
Yeah.
Warrior.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting.
They
I'm
also- I
curious
think
how
they-
that would work too, like, because the way the Defiance bar works on the bosses is that you get the Defiance bar down, and then it prevents the boss from doing some big mechanic thing. What if you get the person's Defiance bar down? Like, what happens? Like, I'm curious how that will work
That
as
would
a
be-
player thing.
Like some kind of big channeled ability, and that they have to break your Defiance bar before it goes off.
Yeah,
That'd be
or
kinda cool.
something. It'd be interesting.
I think they also teased in one of the articles about an elite specialization having nothing but shouts.
No, they said that. So there's a shout track which will unlock all of your shouts.
Right.
There is an elite. It won't be nothing but shouts, but it will give like a whole set of shouts. So it was in addition to the other things. I read that the same way, and then I went back and reread it, and I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, that's better.
So basically, you'd be able to have all shouts slotted on 6 through 0.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to run nothing but shouts, but you could if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Basically, is how I
exactly.
understood it. Yeah.
Cheerleader build, yay.
Which, I mean, that could also,
Go team!
like, I'm wondering which will be which. Will the shouts be the Guardian or the Warrior, or will the Defiance bar be the Guardian or the Warrior? Because
I feel like the shout being on the Warrior would, like, they should have defaultly as part of their core thing a shout option to unlock all of your shouts, because that's a thing they have anyways. I feel like having that as part of the elite spec would be redundant. I would imagine they'd give that to some class that doesn't currently have many shouts.
maybe doesn't have many shouts at all, so maybe like a Mesmer or something.
Give a shout line to the Necromancer.
I'm
Get over there!
really trying.
I'm really excited to find out what they name the Necromancer, because like a Necromancer with a great sword, you got to name that something badass, like a Reaper
Yeah.
or something. I want it to be named Reaper. That's my I'm banking on that.
That
That's
would be
what-
pretty cool, actually. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I really just hope they give you as a Necromancer, a attack that, stop attacking option for the minions.
Yeah.
That's really all I'm looking forward
That's
to.
what I was thinking with the shouts. They could actually do that. You know, you could be shouting it across the way to whatever they're doing.
They are changing up how, like, the menu master build works some. I think that's what whoever was complaining about it was probably complaining about. They didn't say specifically what they didn't like, but that's the only thing I can imagine. But I don't really understand it, because they reduced the minion master trait because it's baseline now. So, I don't know. I should stop trying to theorize what crazy people on the internet are ranting about.
Yeah, it's tough trying to make your way through all the QQ and get to a logical conclusion. It can't be done.
Yeah, because every time I start, I keep thinking it through, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Never mind.
One thing that did sort of worry me about this new system is the UI itself. Actually, to me, at any rate, at a glance, it seems a lot more complicated than the UI.
Especially when you're on the unlock panel. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Seems...
I just found it kind of worrying, because it's like I'm putting myself in the mind of a new player, and I level to whatever level will have this locked behind. And I see this UI, and it's just like, whoa, I don't know if I can do this, and I might walk away from the game right there.
What is all of this?
Well, I've seen. I mean, heck, we saw it with. You remember, Arlie, when they were releasing all the info for Warlords of Draenor, all the garrison stuff. All those UIs changed however many times.
Yeah.
And we saw all those screenshots when we were looking at the stuff on MMO Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this stuff, like that unlock panel, could change 3, 4, 5,
I hope they
10
do.
times between
Like,
now
for
and
me,
release.
it's not just the circle, but like if you look at the panel, you have this long list, and you know when you first unlock it, especially as a new player, everything's going to be empty. So you're going to be like, wait, what? Do I go consecutively through this? Like, what do I do with this?
And I'm not understanding. Like, now that I'm looking at it again, I'm not getting the wheel in conjunction with
the
the
like
bars
what's
on
the
the left.
relationship there? Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting that, but that's, again, we were talking earlier is like I don't like without being able to know the process, not being able to play with the UI, we're kind of missing half the picture.
Yeah.
So
My guess on what's going on there, because I'm looking at it right now, is like if you notice they have the water magic highlighted, and then you have the circle and the top there it says water magic and 68%. So like that's your progress for unlocking. Like so each line has a circle attached to it, and you work through the circle unlocking that line. That's what I think they're doing.
okay, so if they spent 25 hero points, they'd unlock the next thing on the line, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Basically, I'm just worried that this will be daunting to. I mean, it's daunting to me.
Say that. This UI here will probably change. The one for the actual choosing the specialization tracks, I'm not terribly worried with.
No, I think that is fine, and it's really intuitive, and like you click on the arrow and you get your choice of what you set as active. I think that's great. The unlocking thing is, I can really see that being confusing for new
It
players.
looks almost like they were fighting to try and make use of the working part of the hero pane.
Yeah.
Like, when you open up the hero panel and you have like all the working stuff where your traits and stuff are now, it looks like they were trying to fill that space with this
Yeah.
UI.
Well, and like you said, I think this is a matter of we need to play with it, because looking at it now, after what Robin was saying, I can see how it all fits together and works.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there in the upper corner, how many hero points you're spending, what your rank is, all that. All the information is there. They could make it a little bit clearer, maybe. I don't know how, using a bar instead of a circle.
Circles are evil.
I mean, other than that, I mean, it makes perfect sense when you start looking at it in that way.
It's also looking to me like they're removing the level requirements for getting up to Grandmaster.
I am not so sure about that. Like,
Well, this is just speculation on my part, but it's the fact that they said if you want to go ahead and become a master of water magic as your first thing as a player, you can do that, which means that you spend all of your points maxing out the entire water track, but that also means that you've neglected all of your skill tracks, all of your other specialization tracks, so all you've got are the water traits.
Okay,
I actually
I
like
can
that
see
system a lot better
That
than
makes
the
sense.
current one.
Yeah.
I think it gives people a lot more options. So I think
It gives you something to like. I want to do this as a core, and then you select the other things around it to support it.
because that's like, at least me personally, that's how I play pretty much RPGs in general. I create my character and I'm like, I'm going to specialize in this, and then after that I'll look at what else I can do. But right now, this is what I'm doing. And I think a lot of people do that also.
That's like, even with Guild Wars 2, when I was actually creating all of my new characters, my first thing to do was I would pick different weapons. Like, I'd go through getting all of the weapon skills back when, you actually had to go out and kill stuff to unlock all the weapon skills. I'd find the weapon sets that I liked, and then I would base my traits around those. Because if I liked playing that, I would be better off building stuff to support it than trying to shoehorn myself into another playstyle because it's better.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Now, what you said about level requirements for Grandmaster traits, do you guys know what those are right now? Is it still 60?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Sure.
Because with the new player experience that I've never played, I don't know what it is.
I think it's still 60.
Still 60?
Yeah.
Because I know
Sounds right.
the sigil requirement for superior sigils and runes is still 60, so that would make sense.
Yeah, because I do remember. No, I do remember because I leveled both my Mesmer and my Thief in the new player experience, and I do remember the fact that they had they were grayed out and they were locked. So I do remember those higher tier, because I remember going out and doing stuff and getting stuff for Master and Grandmaster traits for the unlock system that's there right now, and I remember like, oh, I can't slot this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the opposite problem where, like, for some things that you had access to at a certain level that you should have been able to use, to unlock it, you had to go to, like, a level 80 area, but you were able to unlock it at, like, level 60, so it didn't make sense, like that. They had it going both ways on that, which was a mess.
Basically, yeah, basically all those trait changes that came with the MPE will be getting rescinded with this upcoming trait revamp, so that's at least that is going to be awesome.
What was John Peters said? He was like, people really didn't like it because it was not good.
Yeah, John Peters is a special guy. We
Yeah.
love
I mean,
John
to be
Peters.
fair, basically everything that's happened since the feature pack and through Season 2 has basically been them experimenting for Heart of Thorns. So
Yeah.
this is that.
I
That's what we're
hope-
dealing with.
I hope that not just the trait changes, but also the level locking in the MPE will be stripped come Heart of Thorns. 'Cause I created a new character the other day, and I was like, okay, I've never done the MPE. I have to try this. And it was awful. It was the worst experience. I was
Yeah.
like, you can only auto attack from like level 1 to 2. It's horrible.
Yeah. I
Well-
thought about doing it once, and I was like,
To
I'm
be,
not
to
going
be
to do that to myself.
completely fair, if you were to play an old-style character with the changed experience points, you would probably hit level 2 before you unlocked your number 2 weapon skill.
Maybe.
I don't know. I really
You
like the
might-
old way of unlocking
You
weapon
might
skills.
get along to the number 3 weapon skill by hitting level 2, but probably not.
Are you guys listening to Jim trying to defend the new player
I'm not.
experience?
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that like that there are trade-offs here because along
Yeah.
with the NPE, they also reduce level requirements for 1 through 15. So
Mhm.
basically, a lot of the things that people are complaining about is stuff that it basically was, okay, yes, we realize this is a little onerous for veteran MMO and RPG players. That's why we're making it shorter.
Yeah.
I definitely think like some of the level restrictions do make sense, but I definitely think there's too many and they're at too weird a levels. I definitely
Yeah.
think they should, if they're going to level restrict, they should lump a lot of features together and put them in maybe every 5 levels or so.
Well, that's what they said is every 5 levels you get 10 hero points.
Yeah.
Well,
And then when you hit 60, you get 20 per 5 levels.
but I mean like features like you can't fight underwater until you're level 13
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
I really
don't know if
dislike
13 is
that,
the right
that
level.
you can't even start the personal story until you're level 20. Like, that frustrates me. Like,
I think it's
Oh,
10 to be
because I
fair.
liked it.
Yeah, it's 10 for the personal
Oh,
game,
it
but
is
chat
10?
is
Okay.
chat is saying grandmasters are locked for 80 now.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, that's
Oh, yeah. I knew that.
well, that's cool.
But no, now that I think about it, even now, like removing level requirements, I think you're going to be able to deal with the hero points from level 1, because those are your map rewards. Those are your
Yeah.
leveling rewards.
Mm.
How are
Yeah,
you
but-
going to spend them if you can't access the UI?
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
Well, that
well,
would
I
be
can,
interesting.
like with the way the MPE works right now, I mean, they just leave it. Like if you earn things you can spend later, you just have them and you can't spend them. Like, so I hope they rescind a lot of the level restrictions in the MPE. But MPE ranting aside, I think we can all agree that we're overall happy with the changes that are coming
Yeah.
with specializations.
I even like all the numbers and trait changes, but that's a little specific, and I'm not going to get into gushing over potential new builds until I actually have what's going to release, because that would be kind of
I
silly.
really like that they're taking the stats out of the lines as well. I think
Yeah, that-
overall that's a great change. Like, they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
That is actually something that is going to make it really easy for me to do on my Guardian, because one of the big things is all of the traits that I wanted. Like, I'm building tanky on my Guardian, but a lot of the traits that I wanted are in stuff with, like, power and precision, and I'm like, those won't do anything for me because I won't have enough of them to really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I know for a lot of people, like, if they wanted to try certain traits, but they were trying to stack other stats, like, it caused problems, and it was just silly. So
Yeah.
that
I'm
changed.
really wondering how I'm going to have to take, like, a screenshot of some of my characters' like equipment panes in a level 80 zone just to see what the change is going to do, because I'm kind of curious to see how the numbers work out.
Yeah.
One of my, like on a few of my characters, I do the thing where I take a master trait in a grandmaster slot or an adept in a master slot, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I will have to change that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because most of these changes they're doing, removing some traits, combining others, putting different effects into skills. Overall, I think those are fantastic. So I'm willing to take that hit, I think, for the change.
Yeah, like all of the, like I said earlier, all of the reduced cooldowns on, you know, skill classes, those all have riders with them. So things that were other traits, like even the fall damage traits, are also combined with some other functional trait, so that it's not just you take reduced fall damage and leave an AoE. You have that and something else. So I'm really happy about that, because that makes you not feel like you take a fall damage trait, you feel like either you're doing World v World or jumping puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now you can take it for the rider effect, and also you can lead people on a merry chase in World versus World, jump off a cliff, be fine, they follow you and die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
enough that you can still kill them with the same thing.
Go ahead, Aaron.
well, I'm going to transition. So if you had something on specializations.
Well, I was going to say something about elite specializations to go back there real quick. Is that all right? Or
Yeah,
No.
Go for it.
okay. There's also another thing that we haven't really touched on with the elite specializations that they also revealed, which was that with your elite specialization reward track, so each of those lines is called a reward track, you'll unlock, like, get special items, which will, some of them will be runes, sigils, fancy weapon skin for your new weapon type, an armor skin for a single matching piece of armor, usually headgear or shoulders. I was just curious what you guys thought about that, like the fact that the specialization will give you items as well.
So I'm fine with this due to the wardrobe, because right now with the wardrobe you can wear profession-specific attire on another profession. So as long as it works, as long as this new profession attire functions the same way, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not somehow profession locked, I don't mind. Also, it means it differentiates the elite specialization track from the others more so, instead of just, you know, I mean, I realize you get, you know, like you get the new heal skill, the 3 new utilities, the new elite skill, the new weapon, but it even lumps on top of that of having, you know, here's some items, here's some unique skins. It's nice to see that they're actually making it feel like it is a big deal, as opposed to just here's a 6th track in your specializations.
And of course, I mean, this all goes without saying, but in case you were kind of sweating at this news, if you already have all this, I'm pretty sure it's retroactive, right? Like, if you already have all the skills unlocked, you don't have to earn hero points. And unlock
no.
Yeah.
So the way I read what they said was basically you will have all the hero, when this hits, ta-da, you'll have like all the hero points you would have gotten leveling 1 to 80. You'll have all the ones you would have gotten from all the little spots around the world, and then you can go spend them. And supposedly that'll be enough to unlock all of the core stuff. So, like, if you have all of the skills and whatnot unlocked now, you will be able to unlock all of that stuff anyways, basically.
So there is no need to worry about, you know, getting your things taken away or anything like that. But
no one's stealing stuff out of your toy box.
Yeah, definitely. But moving on to a bit of news that came a little earlier in the week. I think this was Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not good with, guys, listen, I'm not good with days.
You're not a science guy.
But April 22nd, I believe, was the date that they released content in Guild Wars 1 for the 10-year anniversary of the Guild Wars franchise. I believe it was April 28th, 2005 is the original official release date for Guild Wars Prophecies. Quote-unquote Prophecies. It's not actually called Guild Wars Prophecies.
People call it.
Yeah. And so this April 2015 marks the 10-year birthday of the franchise. And what they actually did in Guild Wars 1 is they released two sets of rewards that you could go back and play through old content to earn tokens to buy new weapon sets in Guild Wars 1. There's not any actual new playable content. There's just simply new sets of weapons. One of the weapon sets is fairly bog standard. It's a set of rare weapons, you know, a skin for each weapon type. It's called the Balthazar weapon set. It's pretty cool. I picked the shield up myself. But the set that interested me the most was actually the Decade weapon set, which it basically takes a bunch of weapons from Guild Wars 1 and applies new effects to them that were never applicable in the game before. So it gives, some weapon skins that didn't have particle effects before particle effects. And my favorite one was you could never wield. The only offhand items you could wield in Guild Wars 1 were focuses and shields. And the axe that you can get from this Decade weapon set actually allows you to dual wield axes. It just covers up your offhand and gives you an axe, which was awesome. I totally picked that one up too. But I know that Jim and Robin didn't play much of Guild Wars 1. I know that you did, Roy. Did any of you hop in to check out the anniversary stuff at all?
I haven't yet, no.
I haven't had the time.
I've been out of town, so no.
I'm not gonna lie. I jumped in that first night it came out and farmed up one of the weapon skins, and the next day I farmed up another one.
How long is it going to last?
2 weeks. The content is going to be out for 2 weeks.
So we've got another. It started Tuesday?
Wednesday, I believe, was when it started.
So we got like another week and a half.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I might have to take you guys through. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a thing.
yeah.
Do any of these sets go into the Hall of Monuments?
That is actually what John, the usual host, was talking to me about. He said, if they don't go into Hall of Monuments, I'm not particularly interested. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether they do, but I haven't heard any word on whether they do or not, so I'm assuming they don't, because I think that would have been pretty hot news if they did.
Yeah, that would have been a huge deal.
You didn't go and check on your own account?
Oh, dude, my hull's maxed. Come at me, bro.
Okay.
Get good, son.
Well, you can't swap that stuff out?
You can, I didn't bother because
I figured you would have gone to test it.
No, dude, all mine are
man, come on.
All my weapons are destroyer and tormented weapons. They look way better. But yeah, John basically told me, I don't really care because I can't put these in Hall of Monuments.
Yeah.
But to me, some of the weapon skins were just so cool that I was like, I gotta get those, and I equip them just on my heroes. But John, he sent us a Twitter question in honor of the Guild Wars 10 Guild Wars 1 10-year anniversary, and he asks us, what is your favorite moment in Guild Wars 1? Now, I know we've all at least played the game, so just what is your favorite memory from Guild Wars 1?
I can honestly say that my favorite moment from Guild Wars 1 was the searing. That was one of the, and this is funny because Guild Wars 2 did something similar, this is the first time I've ever seen what was effectively an entire game world destroyed by the game. And the same thing happened with Lion's Arch. I mean, you've got the literal hub city, and guess what? It's a hostile PvE zone now. So it's very clear that ArenaNet loves destroying their own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an especially crazy move because pre-searing Ascalon is such a beautiful place. Like, you go in there and you're like, wow, and then you get transported to after the searing and you're like, this is awful.
This place looks like shit. This place,
yeah.
That literally looks like the Crystal Rain, that it actually happened, because there are so many other games where it would just be, there's, one sticking up out of the ground there and one sticking up out of the ground over there, and everything's still kind of grassy and stuff, and it's just no, these were meteorites. Meteorites.
It's like you said, that was very much a precursor to what happened with Lion's Arch and Guild Wars 2, because you can do the same thing in Guild Wars 1 after the searing. You can go find places you went to in pre-searing Ascalon, now ruined by the searing. It's amazing. It was an amazing experience for me as a player as well.
Man.
How about you, Robin? Was your favorite Guild Wars 1 moment?
Mine is mostly revolving around the guild. It was really nice. I started with Guild Wars 2, and it was really cool to then be able to go back and play some of Guild Wars 1 and see everything with, you guys, and experience it. You knew what was coming and what it was, but I was experiencing it as brand new for me. And that was really cool to be able to have that experience, because so many games, when they release a new version, the old one is no longer available. So I was just really happy to actually get to walk in the history a little bit with my new friends from Guild Wars 2. That was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Red Wolf from chat says his favorite moment from Guild Wars 1 was getting Legendary Defender of Ascalon on his Ranger. Let me know if you death leveled that or not, Red Wolf, because if you death leveled that, then I take my headset off to you, because that's amazing.
What's that mean?
Death leveling was basically for a long time, it was the only way to get to level 20 in pre-searing Ascalon, which earns you the Legendary Defender of Ascalon title. And what you'd do is you'd pull a monster near a res shrine, and you'd let it kill you. And the monster would gain experience from you dying, and that would allow the monster to attain a level which you could then kill it for to earn experience yourself. So, yeah. So naturally, this took a very long time. And he says in chat that he didn't death level it. Later on, they added in quests you could do to continue to earn experience after, because the highest level monsters in pre-searing are level 10, they're bosses. So after level 15, you can't earn experience outside of death leveling, but they added quests in later on in the game that allowed people to get this title relatively easily. That's how I got it. But yeah, I would have been very impressed if he death leveled that, because that's just
Sounds crazy.
Yeah. Roy, how about you?
Everything that's my favorite memory from Guild Wars is actually playing with the Guild Third Element. Talking about death leveling, 5 of our players had actually death leveled prior to being able to do it easy.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, and one guy actually did one for him and one for his wife, so he did it twice.
Granted, death leveling, like, it's mostly AFKable.
Yeah.
Like you set your death level up, you go to work, you come back, you kill the monster, but just the time investment is insane.
It took forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But best time I ever had, or the funniest thing we ever had was, I can't remember if we were in, I think we were at Frostgate, and we all rushed out of Frostgate, and we had a monk, and, the whole crew set up. And we were sitting there for a minute making sure that, everything was set and everybody was using their weapons, and we all headed off. And we got to the edge of a cliff, and we just got into this big old fight. Everybody died, and it was like, what the hell happened? And we looked back, and our monk had gone AFK and forgot to tell us.
Wow.
The funniest thing we've ever done was it's like, we just ran right out there, and it's like, oh, did anybody think to ask the monk if he was ready?
You'd never get that from me, sir. I play a monk in Guild Wars 1, and I would never do something like that to my group.
Nope, you totally never would. He totally did.
I did. Maybe once or twice, not gonna lie. I was really...
You were running me and my wife to Lion's Arch, along with, I think it was Red Wolf and Deo. And we were going to Lion's Arch, and we were like halfway, and you're just kind of gone, because I think you were on an assassin.
Yeah, no, I was running you
sprinting
because they were ahead of you, and we needed to get you caught up so you could come along. So I ran you all the way to Yak's Bend, I think it was, to catch up with us.
Yeah.
And I kind of just left you in the dust, but and that's the thing. Like, that was a thing in Guild Wars 1, was running people places, because
you didn't go anywhere. You just paid the money. They would run ahead and pull you.
Because if one member of your party zoned to another area, the whole party went.
Yes, and that was a big thing in Guild Wars 1, was running. I knew a lot of people that made their fortunes that way. That run I gave you, that was 500 gold, man. You owe me. But and that's just, it goes to show the different cultures between Guild Wars 2 and 1, because that's not necessary in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Oh, and then...
The two runs that I used to do were from Ascalon City to LA, then from LA around the Horn and to...
Temple of the Ages?
No.
Sanctum K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Because Ascalon... Yeah, because Ascalon to LA will get you 1.5, 2K, and then around to Sanctum K will get you another 1K. Yeah.
Wow.
I was never big on running. I could do all the runs because all you needed was a certain assassin build, and then you could just kill all of them. But I never did it very much.
The Drock run was the big money maker, and I could never get that.
That was a 2,000 gold run.
Yeah, the guys
I could do the Drock run.
I couldn't get Drocks.
And then there's comment in chat about parties in guild halls, which we can do again.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
If they'd ever give us some information on guild halls, which I've been...
I was going to say, we know very little about what they are.
We know that they're going to happen.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of I was actually kind of miffed about that confidential email that went out a few weeks ago, because clearly that was about the specialization info that came out recently. I was hoping it would be about guild halls, though, because that's the feature I'm most excited for Hard
Would
Forge.
be nice. I want to know everything they're going to do with guilds, like
At the very least, especially after the reception at like the announcement when they did this, we know they can't say that we can't ship hot with guild halls. They can't do that. Like they would have to delay the expansion if guild halls weren't finished. Like it's one of those things they can't not do.
That would burn a hole in the game so quick. It would just make a mess.
It's like take the crying from like the specialization changes and like magnify it by like 40,000.
Yeah, I remember some fantastic parties me and my guild had in Guild Wars 1 and Guild Hall with, you know, everlasting firework crates and stuff. That was amazing. But my personal favorite memory from Guild Wars 1, it's also a guild memory like Roy's, and it was the time that me and my guild got the Underworld completed in 15 minutes flat. And that was as a guild, that was our best time ever. And I was like, because we went in, we did it perfect, and 15 minutes, boom, done. And we were all just like, wow, that was amazing. And it was a real sense of group accomplishment. And that just, anytime I think of my favorite memory from Guild Wars 1, that springs to mind right away.
Awesome.
But
you guys are making me feel like I'm a complete loner because I didn't have a guild to play with in Guild
Well,
Wars.
see, what's funny is that I played my first 7 months or 6 months in Guild Wars. I played without a guild. I'd made it all the way out to LA and past LA.
Well, I probably would have been able to play more, but as it stood, my parents were divorced, and I could only play at my dad's house, which was every other weekend. So I couldn't exactly play Guild Wars for both days when I was at my dad's house because I couldn't play on a dial-up connection at my mother's.
Yeah, I kind of bounced from guild to guild in Guild Wars 1 until I finally found that guild that I just mentioned, and then they kind of fell apart because drama. Luckily, luckily no more of that in Game Breaker Nation. But we'll get to Game Breaker Nation near the end. First of all, I want to talk about the new gem store items that came out in the gem store over the past couple weeks. I think, I don't know how long. I think it was last week. That,
it was just last week.
Yeah, the Exemplar outfit and the Mad Scientist logging tool. Did any of you pick up either of these?
I did not.
I might get the outfit, but I'm not sure. Like, I would definitely get the outfit if you could still, like, piecemeal things, because there are definitely parts of it that I would love to mix with other things. But since I can't get it like that, I don't know that I would actually, like, I can't really see myself using the whole thing, you know?
Two things I almost guarantee you they're going to fix at some point is A, what you just said, we're going to be able to piecemeal outfits eventually. That's a no-brainer. They have to do that. And then B, they're going to make town clothes into a thing again and not just tonicize them. Like, they have to do that.
Skin sets or outfits or something?
Yeah. Just
honestly,
outfits.
I'm kind of confused why they didn't make town clothing an outfit.
No one knows.
Now that you mention it, I don't get that.
It seems like such an obvious thing, right?
Yeah, because it is essentially exactly what an outfit is, just, you know, casual clothing for whatever race you may be. So yeah, that's kind of weird to think about. And
I'm planning on picking up the outfit. I haven't done it yet. I just need because I had a bit more gold I could get, and then I could just buy it with gold. So I'm just gonna do that. And the thing I liked about this outfit, though, is I actually liked it on both the male and the female. I thought they both looked fine. So I'll definitely pick up the outfit in the coming few days.
I probably won't. I did my splurging on outfits with the Balthazar regalia, and I freaking love that set. That's such a great outfit. Like, the animations and everything on it are perfect.
All my gold on the crow wings and the Balthazar. So yeah, I'm kind of hurting right now.
Yeah, I will say out of the two newest outfits that have come out, the Balthazar outfit is probably the better investment. It's just that thing is mine.
The new ones more than the Balthazar. I didn't like the Balthazar one that much.
So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I
But,
have no sense of style or fashion either, so.
That's true. You should see Robin's characters. They are a disaster. I'm joking.
Hey, just my Safari is a disaster. The other ones are pretty good.
Well, that's 'cause
I'm
you don't
joking.
play
They
your
look
Safari.
fabulous. They look fabulous.
Now, part of the reason why I don't play my Sylvari is I can never get anything that looks okay on her. Like, everything I try to do with her, I'm just like, none of this looks right. Like, the coloring's bad, and like, I just can't do it. So I gave up. Along with all the other reasons.
And of course, the logging tool, it's just another endless gathering tool with an animation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plethora of them. Pick whichever one you like. I don't have any of them because I think they're a poor investment. But they're good. Like I said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. They're good for people who play one character a lot. I jump around on my alts all the time, so they're not a good investment for me.
Ixter's going through and showing the new outfit now. One thing I'm curious about is, are the different colors based on, like, what race you are? Like, does that change, or like, can you dye outfits?
No,
Yeah,
you can dye outfits. There are four dye channels on outfits.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
just Delphi having different colors set up.
Yeah. I think some outfits, like, I don't think you can dye the Balthazar outfit, correct?
Yes, you can.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't tried to dye it yet. I was fine with
If you count it like top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, there's one,
I'm
two,
sorry,
three.
he just showed Char, and it looks funny on the chart.
Oh man,
Yeah.
those char hairstyles.
But if you go through the dye channels on 1, 2, 3, 4, like top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, the number 4 dye channel on the Balthazar outfit, I don't know what it changes the color of.
Probably the belt buckles.
I couldn't even notice that. Like the number 1 is the metal, like the plating of the entire outfit. The number 2, I believe, is the cape on it, and the number 3 is the horns of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the number 4 is used for. It might be a completely unused dye channel, but
Yeah.
or just something so small that it's completely unnoticeable.
So yeah, pick those two things up if you feel the need, but unfortunately we are running short on time and it is time to end. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and discussing the new shenanigans with me. Jim, where can you be found on the internet?
I can be found on Twitter at MalthanusMMO.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And Robin, where can you be found on the internet?
On Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82, at MMOArlie.com, at GameBreaker.tv, and I think I'm forgetting something, but
And Roy, plug yourself.
That's dirty.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Hoodies too, and on YouTube as Schadenfreude Productions.
Okay, I apologize, everybody, but I just
He doesn't mean
thought
it.
of it and I wanted to slip it in there.
You wanted to slip it in there, huh?
There's another one for you.
oh,
Okay,
we
I'll
better
stop.
run quickly now.
I swear I'll stop. I'm stopping.
That's what she said?
Oh, and he carries it a little further. But you can find me at Guild Wars Monk on Twitter. I also write for guildmag.com, and I'm also going to be on the Guildmag podcast later tonight, but that'll be at 3 a.m. because the editor of Guildmag lives in the UK. So if you're going to be up at 3 a.m., do stop by twitch.tv/guildmag and check us out there. If you want to follow us on YouTube, we are Talking Skritt on YouTube, and if you'd like to play Guild Wars 2 with us, we are the Gamebreaker Nation Guild. You can go to GameBreakerNation.com to sign up. Don't worry, we don't only play Guild Wars 2. If you play other games, we have World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, XIV, and Minecraft communities. Other than that, take care, have fun, and we will see you in the game.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.